Sagittarius. Something is approaching as gentle as a breeze, yet powerful enough to stir the very core of who you are. It's not the kind of spotlight you aim for, not the bold move you make or the daring leap you plan with purpose. No, this is different. It's the unexpected light that finds you when you're least prepared, the kind that doesn't ask for permission before revealing the parts of yourself you've long tucked away behind adventure, laughter, or distance. You might be used to being the seeker, the one who tells the story, picking the path, the philosophy, even the perspective from which others see you. You are brilliant at spinning meaning from chaos, at turning vulnerability into wisdom. But this week, something will shift. There will be a moment that escapes your control, a sentence that cuts too close to truth, a glance that lingers longer than it should, a pause that feels too open, and suddenly, someone sees you. Not the bold, witty, fearless Sagittarius the world expects, but the version beneath it all. Raw, unfiltered, carrying emotions you haven't had time to name, and wounds you thought the horizon had already healed. It might feel uncomfortable, unfamiliar, even. But maybe, just maybe, this is the threshold to something deeper. Because sometimes, it's not when you're teaching, guiding, or inspiring that the right people find you. It's when you're simply real, when you're not aiming for impact, when you're just being. If you're hearing these words right now, pause for a moment. Breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Maybe even make yourself a warm cup of coffee or tea. Because we're about to begin a journey you weren't expecting but deeply need. And before we take another step, leave a quiet message in the comments. I am ready to be seen, so I'll know you're here, walking this new path with me. Part 1. This week's warning and context. Sagittarius. This week, someone will truly see you, not the confident, wise, free-spirited version you've learned to present to the world, but the raw, unguarded truth of who you are beneath all the stories, strength, and wanderlust. This won't be one of those moments where you get to lead the narrative, charm the room, or steer the conversation with your philosophical fire. No. This is the kind of being seen that happens when your armor slips without warning and suddenly the parts of you you've kept hidden are standing in the light. You're used to being the explorer of your own life, choosing the direction, the timing, the destination. You know when to speak with passion, when to turn pain into perspective, when to laugh off discomfort with a clever observation. Most people believe they know you, but they only know the version of you that tells the story from a safe distance. Sagittarius is brilliant at turning vulnerability into adventure and emotion into insight. But this week, the universe is asking you to do something different, to not be in control. There will be a moment, maybe so subtle you barely register it, where you let your guard down. A sentence escapes before your mind can frame it as wisdom. Your voice catches when it shouldn't. A brief silence stretches too long and leaves a trace of truth behind. And in that moment, you won't be the teacher, the motivator, or the traveler. You'll just be human. And someone will see that version of you, not the bold, untouchable Sagittarius, but the soul with stories you haven't dared to tell, with emotions that don't fit neatly into lessons, and with quiet bruises that still ache in the wind. Astrologically, this isn't random. Jupiter, your ruling planet, is involved in a powerful alignment with Mercury and Neptune this week. Imagine Mercury as the storyteller, the editor of your experience. Neptune dissolves those filters, making you speak softer, more openly, even when you didn't mean to. Then Jupiter, your cosmic amplifier, comes in and spreads that energy further than you imagined. So those honest moments, they won't stay small, they'll ripple. Some Sagittarians might feel exposed. If they see me not at my best, will they still believe in me? But others will feel something unexpected, a quiet relief, a sense that maybe they're finally allowed to put the map down and just sit still, even for a moment. This week isn't about fixing or inspiring. It's about letting yourself be seen, makeup off, shields down, without the need to explain, justify, or translate it into meaning. You'll notice little shifts. Someone lingers longer in conversation. After you admit you're tired, a friend stops joking and actually listens. A message comes through from someone who felt your mood change before you even said a word. These are not accidents. These are signs from the universe whispering, you don't have to be impressive to be valuable. And here's the twist. The less you try to shine, the more naturally magnetic you become. It's not about switching on a light anymore. It's about realizing there's always been a quiet flame burning inside you, one that doesn't perform but simply warms the space around it. That's the difference between making an impression and being truly seen. One demands energy, the other creates connection. Sagittarius, this isn't just another week. It's an invitation to connect differently, not from your strengths or achievements, but from your stillness, your softness, your truth. It might feel unfamiliar. You might feel naked without your stories or your spark. But if you step into that space, you'll discover a kind of relationship with others, with yourself that goes deeper than anything you've ever found on the road. So if you're still here, hearing these words, take a breath. Let go of the need to move or prove. Maybe prepare yourself something warm, a cup of tea, a sip of coffee. And before we continue, leave a quiet comment below. I am ready to be myself, just so I know you're still here, walking this journey with me. Part 2. Sagittarius's mask and the root of the fear. Sagittarius, you're known for your light, that unmistakable spark that lights up a room and makes people feel like life is bigger, brighter, and full of possibilities when you're around. You know how to tell the right story at the right time, how to inspire hope with a single phrase, and how to laugh in a way that makes everyone else feel like everything will be okay. But let's look a little deeper. Beneath all that natural charisma, there's a mask, one you've worn for so long, it sometimes feels like your real face. This mask can take many forms. Sometimes it's your relentless optimism, always looking at the bright side, even when the storm inside you is raging. Other times, it's your bold humor or your unshakable independence, the ability to move on quickly, to rise above it, to chase a new horizon before anyone sees you hesitate. And then there's the image of nothing can touch me, even though deep down something already has. Every time you wear this mask, you create space between your truth and the world, a kind of emotional altitude, safe and untouchable. But why the distance? Why the need to always be strong, wise, or free? The answer lives in old pages of memory you may have quietly folded shut. Maybe when you were young, love and attention only arrived when you were brave, adventurous, or accomplished. Maybe people only praised you when you rose above it, when you didn't complain, when you made it look easy. But when you slowed down, got quiet, or showed doubt, the room went cold. And in those moments a quiet belief was born. To be loved, I must be inspiring. If I'm not, I'll be left behind. End. Gate. Gate. Cot. Quat. End. gate. Quote, end quote. Quote, caught, end cotton. That belief still follows you, shaping how you show up. You've learned to present safe versions of yourself. The one who always has a wise perspective. The one who doesn't get too close. The one who always seems like they're just passing through. You rarely stay long enough in one emotional space to feel fully seen, because to be seen means to be still. And stillness, that's where the mask might slip. But no mask, no matter how confident or evolved, is without its cracks. And this week, those cracks may shine with light. Astrologically, Jupiter, your ruling planet, is being influenced by Mercury and Saturn. It's as if the wisdom you've carried for others is now being turned inward, asking, what truth have you not yet spoken, even to yourself? This cosmic alignment pulls at your fourth house, the roots, the past, and the stories of emotional safety you've never quite settled into. You might find yourself remembering a moment when you had to pretend you were okay, just to keep someone else from worrying, or when you were expected to move on quickly to be above it, and didn't have the space to just be hurt. And now, that expectation lives within you. Even in small, quiet moments, a meeting where you have no insight to offer, a friend who doesn't laugh at your joke, a silence where no one checks in, you might feel strangely invisible. This isn't punishment. It's clarity. The universe is holding up a mirror, not to criticize, but to help you see, to help you realize you've been living under a quiet burden, always needing to earn your place through wisdom, joy, or growth. But Sagittarius, you are worthy even when you're tired, even when you have no grand idea, even when you're simply sitting in the middle of your own silence. And yes, silence can be terrifying. Because in stillness, you have no fire to run toward, no story to tell, no escape route disguised as curiosity. But that's exactly where the truth lives. That's where love becomes real. Not earned through inspiration or adventure, but offered freely, even in your most unremarkable moment. And remember, the mask isn't your enemy. It helped you survive. It gave you wings when you didn't feel safe on the ground. But now, maybe you're strong enough to land, to walk barefoot into your truth, and know the earth will hold you. And when you dare to let the mask fall, you'll find that the ones who stay, they see more than just your fire. They see you. And that kind of love, it doesn't burn out. If any of this speaks to you, take a moment and leave a quiet affirmation in the comments. I am worthy even without trying. Say it to yourself as often as you need, not to convince the world, but to finally remind you. Part 3. 3 Sagittarius birth date groups and the reveal scenarios. For Sagittarius, the same light of truth reveals itself differently depending on your birth window. This week, the energy of being seen doesn't arrive to shake your freedom. It arrives to bring you closer to your essence, to the version of you that doesn't need a passport to be present, that doesn't need to perform to feel powerful. Read through and find where you belong. The universe has placed you in the exact moment you need now. It's asking, will you stay long enough to be seen? Group 1, the 22nd of November, December 1, early Sagittarius. Truth revealed through your work or your message. You're sharp, decisive, and often the person others turn to for guidance, or at least for the next big idea. You usually lead the room with confidence, clarity, or a vision that feels 10 steps ahead. But this week, there may be a moment that doesn't go according to plan. Maybe you say something more raw than you intended. Maybe your presentation falls flat in the middle. Maybe you suddenly realize you're not so sure about a decision you once felt solid on. With Neptune softening your edges and Jupiter amplifying the moment, this week's energy blurs the usual Sagittarius certainty and instead invites in honesty. Scenario: in a meeting, someone asks a question that exposes a blind spot. Instead of rushing to cover it up, you say, "I need to think on this," or "I don't have that answer yet." And the room doesn't fall apart, in fact. People respect you more. Advice: let your authority come from your presence, not your perfection. Speak a little slower. Allow space. If you feel vulnerable, don't cover it with a joke or another big idea. Just stay. A sentence like, "I'll circle back on this," can be more powerful than trying to have it all figured out. Remember, your credibility isn't in always being right, it's in being real. Group 2. The 2nd of December. December 1, mid-Sagittarius. Someone in love or friendship sees the real emotional you. With Mercury and Venus dancing through your chart, this week stirs your heart in ways you might not expect or feel ready for. You often use humor, big dreams, or constant movement to avoid answering one quiet but terrifying question: how do I actually feel? You've mastered the art of distraction, but this week, someone sees through it. A partner? A friend? Maybe someone from your past catches the signal you didn't mean to send. Scenario: you say, "I'm fine," but your voice shakes. You show up for coffee, and instead of your usual stories, you sigh and admit what's really been weighing you down. That one sentence opens something, and suddenly, you're not alone in your truth. Advice: don't try to be the fixer this time. Don't rush to be the strong one. Ask instead, "Can I let you in on something I've been carrying?" And when the other person responds, don't analyze it. Don't turn it into a lesson or a metaphor. Just be there. Let connection happen in the silence. You'll discover the people who stay when you're not teaching or entertaining, they're the ones you've been longing for all along. Group 3. The 12th of December. December 2, 1 late Sagittarius. A hidden gift, or calling steps into the light. With Uranus subtly activating your creative zone, this week pushes something out of hiding. You've been quietly building or dreaming. Maybe it's a poem, a design, a business idea, a message you've wanted to share but didn't feel ready to show. You tell yourself, "It's not perfect yet, just a bit more time." But the truth is, perfection is fear in disguise. This week, a tiny nudge, an unexpected opportunity, a conversation, or even a wave of clarity opens the gate. Scenario: you post a short video that's unpolished but real. You send that demo. You let someone read your writing. And instead of judgment, you receive encouragement. A few words of warmth that remind you, this wasn't about being impressive. It was about being true. Advice: don't aim for fireworks, aim for flow. Set a 48-hour limit. What can you share in that time without over-editing? Give the universe something to respond to. When you move, it moves with you. The truth being revealed this week isn't a weakness. It's your light finally stepping forward, without costume, without performance. No matter your group, the shared theme this week is powerful. The edge between wanting to be loved and daring to be known. This is where Sagittarius's magnetic energy truly activates, not through grand gestures or wild adventures, but through presence, vulnerability, and truth. And when your truth comes forward, treat it with care. Let it land gently. If there's a mistake, fix it. If there's a tear, don't hide it. If someone stays, thank them. The universe doesn't need you to inspire this week, it just wants you to be here. If any of this resonates, take a moment to anchor the energy. Hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment below to ground your courage. I am ready to be seen. Part 4. The lesson of natural magnetism and authenticity, Sagittarius. There's a fine yet powerful line that changes everything about how you show up in the world. The line between being seen and being known. Being seen is when people admire the surface. Your energy, your stories, your laughter, your bold moves, your ability to light up any space you walk into. It's like a cinematic snapshot. Iconic, inspiring, but still just a moment. But being known, that's different. Being known is when someone stays long enough to hear the silence after the joke, when they notice the restlessness behind your freedom, the questions behind your answers, when they see not just the fire, but the ashes, the parts you usually leave behind on the road to what's next. To be known, Sagittarius, you must let someone walk beside you, even when you're standing still. This week, something shifts. You'll begin to feel a magnetic pull that doesn't come from your brilliance or movement, but from your essence, from the space inside you that no longer needs to be something in order to be felt. And strangely, the more you stop trying to inspire, the more others begin to feel drawn to you. Why? Because natural magnetism has nothing to do with effort. It's not planned, not polished. It rises from the peace that comes when you are fully yourself. No performance, no strategy, no escape route, just presence. The stars are supporting you in this. Jupiter, your ruling planet, is forming a rare and harmonious trine with Mercury. This opens a subtle yet powerful doorway, not one you charge through, but one that invites you to linger, to soften. This alignment creates space for deeper conversation, for unfiltered truth, for unexpected emotional connection. If in the past you used your intellect, humor, or philosophy to guide every interaction this week, try letting the moment guide you. Maybe it's during a simple cup of coffee, where instead of telling a story, you share a memory, messy, unpolished, human, and the person across from you leans in, not because you were brilliant, but because you were real. Maybe it's during a team meeting, and instead of proposing the next big idea, you say, "Honestly, I'm still figuring this out." And suddenly, everyone else exhales too. Or maybe it's a quiet message you send not to impress, but just to say, "I've been thinking of you. How are you really doing?" These won't be fireworks moments, but they'll feel like sunlight breaking through clouds. Quiet, steady, impossible to forget. Sagittarius, true magnetism isn't about how many people look at you. It's about how many people feel you. Being seen earns applause, but being known creates connection. And when you live in connection, you don't need the stage anymore. You don't have to chase impact or attention. You become the warmth people come home to. You become your own source of light. And that light, it never fades. If you're hearing this now, if it resonates even a little, take a moment and drop a comment below. I choose real connection, not for me, for you, for the version of you that's ready to be seen beyond the performance. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because the next part of this journey is about to go even deeper into the heart. Part 5. The final test and the invitation to choose. Sagittarius, not every challenge from the universe arrives like thunder. Sometimes It comes quietly, not as a dramatic turning point, but as a soft, still question that touches the deepest part of your soul. This week is exactly that. A moment of truth wrapped in something deceptively simple. Can you love and accept yourself when you're not inspiring, not accomplishing, not shining, and have nothing to prove? It sounds easy. But if you're honest, you know this is the question you've danced around your whole life. You, Sagittarius, thrive in the zone of, when I'm growing, I'm lovable. Or, when I'm expanding, people will want to stay. Your freedom, your wisdom, your fire, they've become your armor. You use vision and momentum like tools to earn your place in the world. But underneath, there's a quiet fear. If I'm not becoming something, will I still be someone? And that's what makes this week feel so raw. It may place you in situations where you can't outrun the moment, can't redirect the energy, can't spin the story. You may be seen in a moment of stillness without inspiration, without brilliance, just you, the unfiltered you. And in that moment, you'll have one choice, to let them see you. But if you're brave enough to stay, something incredible begins to shift. You'll feel the weight lift, the constant need to be worthy of love. When you realize that love doesn't have to be earned, that your presence alone holds value, every relationship becomes lighter. You stop chasing meaning and start living inside it. And the peace you find, no one can take it from you. Still, be mindful. Once you taste real connection, the kind that doesn't require performance or adventure to maintain, you won't want to go back. Just like you can't go back to artificial light after watching a sunrise, you'll find it hard to pretend again for the sake of being admired. This is a point of no return, and that's a good thing. Of course, the path won't be easy. There will be moments of emptiness, where the applause doesn't come, where your old instincts beg you to step back into the spotlight and perform. But stay. Stay long enough to notice that the emptiness isn't empty. It's space. The kind of space where real people, real purpose, and real connection walk in. Sagittarius, this is your threshold. Will you keep chasing impact and admiration to stay relevant? Or will you set the story down, step forward without a script, and choose the wild, beautiful power of being yourself, unpolished, unfiltered, real? Will you choose comfort but loneliness, or freedom, even if it's messy? The universe won't make the decision for you. It will simply place the key in your hand and wait to see if you're willing to unlock the door. But if you do, if you step into this next version of you, you'll realize everything you were searching for out there was always inside. If you're still here hearing these words, take a moment now to anchor this shift. Close your eyes, breathe, and say to yourself, softly but clearly, when I am myself, I am free. Then open your eyes and leave that exact sentence in the comments. Not for me, but as a declaration to the universe and to your own spirit that you're ready. And if you want to keep walking this journey together, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Because this isn't just astrology. This is your becoming. Dear Sagittarius, if you've stayed with me until now, you know this path isn't about zodiac signs. It's about you, about daring to remove the cloak of constant progress, about standing still long enough to feel, to heal, and to belong. You don't have to climb mountains to prove you're strong. You don't have to inspire to deserve love. The greatest truth you'll carry from this moment is this: your magnetism doesn't come from the stories you tell. It comes from how gently and honestly you live with yourself. When you stop running from your stillness and start resting in it, The right people will find you, not because you dazzled them, but because your quiet light spoke to theirs. There will be days when your old patterns return, when you'll want to fill the silence with movement, or say something wise just to feel safe. When that happens, place your hand over your heart and remind yourself, I am enough. Not when I'm achieving, not when I'm inspiring. Now, just as I am. If this resonates with even a part of your being, drop a comment to anchor today's energy. When I am myself, I am free. And remember, this is only the beginning. The next message is already forming. And when you're ready, I'll be right here waiting to share it. You are the light of your own life. And that light has never dimmed. See you in the next video.